I got to tell you, this last week, even including today, I felt like I've been in a war zone. It's like it
Well,
was so busy, and today just I shouldn't complain that things are busy in here,
oh,
but
look, anybody
I'm
who's in the
tired.
travel industry now is just they're just busy, right? I mean, we're just busy. People are ready to get back and travel, and it's so yeah. I mean, I think it's great that you're busy. Kathleen,
Well,
Mark Pizzo,
hi
hello.
guys. Yeah, it's crazy on my end because it's like a lot of hotels were like, trying to run on bare bones staff. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we need sales help. And oh, our business cases are due May 31st. Can you help?
Yeah, no, I look. I mean,
Hi,
I hear
Pablo.
you. I mean, hey guys, hello, Dr. Cardi, hello, Josh
Hello,
Crothers.
Lisa.
I'm glad, Josh, you agree that Enterprise is better than Discovery, Josh. That made me laugh. Your gift, Miss Lisa. Hello, hello.
So, for those of you that may be new watching this, Jason and I host a weekly travel news talk show where we review the latest and greatest in the travel industry every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central. But every so often,
No, Eastern.
did I say Central? Oh my God, I'm like you. We have a problem. Sorry, 11 a.m. Eastern. But every so often, we'll pop on here for an after hours where it's a little bit more informal. We take a little more questions out of the chat,
Right.
versus on Tuesday, because Tuesday we're trying to get through the news.
Yes.
And Jason actually brought up a really cool idea for tonight. And
Yes.
I think it's going to be fun. I got to re-pull up my questions here, but we're actually going to interview each other. And you guys are going to be able to ask questions to Jason or myself. And we're just going to go through and answer these. We've each got a cocktail. I have the
Oh,
new Kirkland Signature Grapefruit Hard Seltzer, the cheap White Claw.
I made a new drink for the very first time ever this evening. It's a Hendrix Gin Martini, bone dry with the cucumber garnish. I've never made one of these before.
Never in your life. Wow. No, Rick, the OnlyFans was right before the broadcast, actually. Jason
Oh,
was walking around without a shirt on, trying to
that's
figure out what to
funny.
wear.
Oh, someone is on here from the Habs
Ooh.
team.
Yes,
Hello.
Pablo. And I think Pablo needs your help, Jason. He says,
Uh,
I need help booking a trip to Puerto Vallarta.
I'll put in my email address in here for you. You can shoot me an email, and I will be
Yeah,
happy
he's the
to
one that
help
gets me
you.
my killer deals on all the things.
Yes. So, all right, guys. Hope you're having a great Monday night. Haley and I were like, we haven't done one of these casual, just laid back. We interact with you guys more. We have adult beverages conversations.
It is Cheap Claw. So, Jason, I'm grabbing my questions for you right now.
Okay. I'm nervous.
So, for those of you that may not be accustomed to Jason and myself, so Jason is a travel advisor. Do you want to kind of give them your spiel and I'll give them my background?
Yeah. So my name is Jason Poole. I am a travel advisor with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. I focus on all things cruising, all things all inclusive land resorts, and European land travel. I've been doing it for a number of years now. I'm not even sure how long. I could figure it out. But I've been an avid cruiser, avid traveler for most of my adult life after college when I could afford it. After
You know
college,
that life.
adult life. So yeah. So Haley, why should anybody listen to what you say about hotels?
Because I'm blonde. No, I'm kidding. I figured like a good excuse. So, my name is Haley. I am the owner and president of Hospitality with a Flair, which is a hotel sales support company. We work with hotels to try to make them money. That is the best way I can give you a
Love it.
synopsis on this. I've been working in the hotel industry for 14 years at this point, from housekeeping all the way up to sales. I've worked with Hilton, Choice, IHG, Radisson, Best Western, Wyndham, and a bunch of boutiques and independents. And I've also done small prospecting projects for Marriott and Hyatt as well. Not directly handling, but little projects. And I travel blog. I like travel in all its forms. So
Excellent. Love it, love it, love it. So, Haley, I will let you go first.
absolutely. So I think we just had quite a few people just join too. So we're doing a Q&A session. Jason and I are in essence interviewing each other. But if you have questions for Jason or myself, make sure you write a comment. Just say question for Jason, question for Haley, and your question.
And even if we don't see it, we'll scroll back up and we'll read them all. So just type it, and we'll scroll up and we'll see it.
We're gonna stay on top of it unless we get a little too deep into the drinks.
Cheers, Haley.
It's Monday. Cheers. So, Jason, I know that you have a master's in statistics from Texas A&M.
I do.
How did you get into becoming a travel agent?
Great question. So it's actually kind of a funny story. I'll condense the story. I was on a cruise. I think it was the Allure. Not to be confused with the Allure. And I see this lady sitting at a table where I wanted to sit. And like I said, long story short, I sit down, talk to her. Her name is Kathy Kennedy. You guys have probably seen her name on a lot of invoices and emails and stuff. So Kathy Kennedy became my travel agent. She's with Cruise Planners, and she was my travel agent for a long time. I think I drove her so crazy with all of my requests and questions. She was like, you should do this. And I turned her down like 3 times. I finally joined her team part-time as an associate. I had a great daytime job, and I just only wanted to do the travel on the side, moonlighting, just book my travels, my friends' travels. Never dreamed it would be a career. And then like 2 years later, I was like, wow, I have 2 full-time jobs. I have to quit one. And I quit the boring day job and jumped headfirst as an equal partner with Kathy, and the rest is history.
Isn't it funny just how things get started? Like I was originally going to be going to school for a law degree.
Yeah. I mean, I do joke, if anybody needs an ANOVA run or a T-test or a goodness of fit test in their data, I'm more than qualified to help you out. Or I can book an all-inclusive resort for our support
totally
teams.
up to you. Before you ask me a question, Jason, there is a question in here from Captain Rehab. He's like, Jason, will Alaska cruising happen this season?
No, I don't think so.
I have very strong doubt.
For Alaska to happen, one of 2 things has to happen. The Canadian government has to allow the American ported ships to dock in Canada, even for a technical stop. So far, the Canadian government has said no. The second thing that would have to happen would be Congress would have to change the law, which there is a bill proposed, to have a 1-year exemption on having to visit a foreign port. While the travel industry is very important to the Alaskan senators, to the Texas senators, to the Florida senators, America has bigger issues going on right now than allowing an Alaskan cruise season to happen. So I think the time is, the earliest Alaska could happen would be like early July at this point. The earliest.
And remember, guys, we talked about in a previous episode on the Today in Travel talk show that depending on what your goal is in Alaska, like if you're really wanting to deep dive, you can book those land packages still with Holland America.
Holland America and Princess. Yeah, no, that is great. So I sadly don't think Alaska's going to happen. Rick is being a little bit of a troll, but
he's been a little facetious.
Nothing else from Mr. Rick. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
So take off your hotel professional hat.
or wig. No,
or wig. What is your favorite hotel brand as a guest?
mm, this is a really hard one. God. So if I was a very frequent traveler that had very specific targeted, like I'm talking the business traveler realm part of me. If I was somebody, say, like Ken Jarvis,
Sure.
that frequently goes to Dallas, Tampa, and stuff like that, where I could get a very high loyalty status with, I would lean Hyatt, because if you can get that globalist level on Hyatt, there are fantastic perks that are just above and beyond what other hotel brands do for their top tiers. Like you
Okay.
can actually share your perks as a globalist with a friend. Like you can make a reservation
Wait
for
a
a friend. You don't travel.
wait a minute. So we both know a globalist, and we're not getting those benefits.
Exactly. I mean, you got to take that up with.
Ah, I am going to. I'm going to have to talk to a certain someone that we both know. Okay, so
Yeah,
as
so
a
if
guest,
it was in that realm, I do love Hyatt. My problem for me personally, like if I am to truly take off that hat on the leisure side, is that
Mhm.
there's not enough of them.
Oh, sure.
There's not enough. So I tend to lean a bit more towards Hilton versus a Marriott. In that respect, I really love some of those more upper mid scale full service brands from Hilton. I think you get a really good bang for your buck there. But if I'm wanting to be more on the luxury side, on the mass branding, it would be Marriott. I know that was so wordy and I'm so sorry, but
So
there's so
basically,
many
you said
layers.
you called me Hyatt, Hilton, and Marriott.
Yeah.
You failed as the question. At the question, I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
I felt terribly. We do have a couple little questions in here too. So to tag on to Kathleen, Kathleen talked about Pfizer being approved for 12 to 16 months, a game changer.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I mean, I'm sad that Olivia's going to be 11, but they're set to do, I think, 2 or 3 to age 11 by September is what they're hoping
Right.
for. So I think it's great news. It's just what we needed to hear. And I think we have another question here. What will be your first drink back on board?
Oh, that's easy. Champagne.
See, I don't know. It's going to be real hot. I don't know. I love champagne, don't get me wrong, but since my first sailing back is going to be Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas with you, I would probably go for a frozen lemonade with kettle. Like, because it's going to be hot.
Mhm.
And that's just so refreshing. And for some reason, the lemonade mix that Royal has is really tart. And I love very tart citrus. So I'm going to say frozen lemonade with kettle.
And Rick, we did not ignore Hunt. I typed out my response.
So no, Huntley Cruise. Oh, you type that, Jason? Oh,
I did.
Bob. If you're looking for simple and easy for one night, I mean, the Hilton Colonial is not a
Yeah.
terrible idea.
Sure. I mean, it's where I think we're checking into the cruise.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's really simple and easy. And I think it has a nice little beach area right there right now. I know a lot of people that love that resort. I mean, if you're wanting to keep it simple and not have to worry about a ton of transportation, I
Oh,
say go for
do
it.
you?
But I mean,
Sorry,
Nassau
Hunt. You didn't say it.
is known for Atlantis and the Baja Mar at this point. Like, it's kind of like you forget there's other resorts there. I almost forget about that Hilton because when you hear Nassau, it's either Baja Mar or it's
Honest
Atlantis.
to God, when I heard that's where the adventure was, we were going to be taking in, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Forgot about that one. All right, so I think you're up next, Haley.
Yes. So Jason, what is your favorite cruise to date that you've taken? And you can't, I know you want to say the Brilliance, Super Bowl.
The Majesty of the Seas, Super Bowl 20. What was that? 17,
I think
18?
it was
No.
2018 or 2017.
Oh my God. No. So my favorite cruise to date would have to be a couple summers ago. I did a 10-night sailing out of Rome on the Celebrity Reflection. I spent 4 days in Rome pre-cruise, and then did a 10-night cruise to a few other ports in Italy, and then we went over to the Greek Isles. So within a span of 2 weeks, I saw Rome, Amalfi Coast, Pompeii, Mykonos, Rhodes, Santorini, Athens. Like, it was just absolutely the best trip, the best cruise I have ever taken. So that is the one that sticks out in my head as my number one cruise.
Ugh, I don't blame you. Like, I just go back and look at your pictures from that trip. Like, it is
I love it.
amazing.
Yeah, no, that was my absolute favorite. And I had a lot of other great cruises, but that was the first time I've been to Rome, first time I've been to Greece. So it was just like, I remember sitting in the Colosseum and actually getting a little emotional at how lucky I was to see these sites, because so many Americans don't make it across the pond. And I was just so thankful that I was able to do that trip. So absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it.
There is something about, going across the pond there that, especially with how old
Yeah.
the history is, like, it's really humbling. Like, it is.
I mean, not just the Coliseum. You literally see buildings that are older than the United States of America. I mean, I'm not going to say America because there were people here before the United States of America. Don't tell Rick Santorum that. I'm sorry. I should. Yeah.
This is going down here real fast.
Be quiet. All right. So I have a question for you. So, putting your professional wig back on.
Okay. Touch that up.
What's your favorite brand with which to work as a professional?
So that is no questions asked. That's going to be Hilton, hands down. And a lot of people are like, oh my God. But, the other two, for me, as a working person in the hotel industry, Hilton is much stronger on the tech side on the back end.
Okay.
Marriott uses the system called Marcia and Fosse. If you guys get a chance to ever Google, if you're really bored, like, Fosse is a dinosaur. Like, I'm surprised it does not require dial-up. Like, it is just old. Like, there's just so many workarounds you have to do, where Hilton's very straightforward. Hilton put a lot of money about 10 years ago. They started pouring a lot of money into tech, which is why when you do e-check-in with Hilton, Hilton's the only brand where you can actually pull up a blueprint of the hotel when you e-check-in and actually pick your room like you would an airline seat. And now with, the phones being able to be used, you don't even have to go to a front desk if you don't want to.
You know
can
what?
literally pick your room. It'll tell you when it's ready. You walk there, you use your phone. You don't need to talk to anybody.
The idea of walking into a hotel, standing in a line, getting a key with a printed map, it feels like it's something from the 70s.
It does. It does.
Like,
a lot of these hotels are coming a really long way in their app. I know within Hilton and Marriott's app, you can even call Lyft or Uber from within their app. Like, it's really a one-stop shop. They have instant messaging features with the front desk. But Hilton definitely more because they have just so many tools on that tech side, which makes it really easy when you're trying to sell one of those properties, be it to a group or a corporate account. Oh,
okay.
There's a hotel question in here. Richard Haley. Do hotel prices for a specific date fluctuate much? Is there an optimal time?
Well, hold on. I think we saw that in our Facebook group. That might be our answer for tomorrow.
Is that his question? I didn't get to read it.
Yes.
Richard, we were going to make that the question of the day.
For tomorrow. So if you're okay, Mr. Richard, we will make that tomorrow's question. It's a great question and worthy of a longer conversation. It's a great question.
It is. And, not to answer that question, but in relation to that question, to give you an idea, an average hotel will have over 60 different rate plans.
Oh, you should see when I book a
Like,
hotel, just all the different codes. I mean, it's
yeah.
pages.
And that doesn't include like the rate plans you make for like corporate accounts either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like there are like Expedia itself, depending on the hotel chain, will have anywhere from 3 to 10 different rate codes, depending on if it's a member rate, if it's the standard Expedia rate, and they can change on a dime. And a lot of hotels have implemented new technology system. Hilton has had theirs for a while. It's called Grow, where Grow will see that this one weekend, maybe in September, is picking up like 8 reservations have just booked for this one weekend in September. Grow will automatically push the rates for the hotel.
Okay.
So
Save this, Haley. Save this, Haley. This is a great talk for
I
tomorrow. This is a great topic. Okay, you gotta.
Oh God, I could go on.
So Miss Q had a question for you, Haley. What are your thoughts of the Waldorf Astoria and the Maldives? It's on their bucket list.
It is beautiful. I'm gonna look it up while we talk, but there is, I think, a better resort option in the Maldives. I have to look up the name of it though.
Okay, so we're actually going to talk about possibly the Maldives in a little bit.
I gotta find it here because there was one of these other travel bloggers that I talk with that she just went to, and it's one of the ones that have all the different overwater bungalows with the slides, and
I've seen those. They're beautiful.
it's beautiful.
Well, let's see. I think it was your question for
It
me next.
is,
I'll
and
answer it while you're looking that up.
yes, but before you answer that, will you confirm if the Beyond will be doing Italy and Greek Isles?
I already replied in the text, and yes, it will.
Oh, yours highlights pink. Sorry, like it keeps like blurbing.
I already replied. I did.
What is your favorite cruise line, Jason? I like want to die even just saying that to you.
I am a. You guys aren't seeing my reply. Oh, hold on. Oops.
You have it on private.
I do have
That's
it on
why
private.
it's pink and bubbly.
I just fixed it. Sorry, Rick. I just fixed it. So sorry you guys weren't getting. So were you guys getting individual replies, or nobody was getting replies?
No, if it's highlighted pink, it's private. So I think I just see them.
Sorry, it's fixed. You guys should see my sorry. It is fixed. Okay, so favorite cruise line, guys. If you know me, it is no surprise. It is Celebrity Cruises. I just love Celebrity Cruises because in the premium cruising sphere, there's 3 major players. There's Princess, Holland America, and Celebrity. And Celebrity tends to be the most modern, the most chic, slightly younger median age versus the other 2. So don't get me wrong, Princess, the new ships are beautiful. The new Holland America ships are beautiful. But I just think Celebrity has the perfect mix of a premium experience, which the other 2 cannot touch, the Retreat or Aqua Class. But without being too stuffy that we can't do shots at the Martini Bar. I mean, Lord knows, Haley, you and I have done shots at the Martini Bar. So I just love Celebrity Cruises. Being a gay man, they are voted almost every year as the #1 cruise line for LGBT travelers. So they sponsored the Miami Pride Parade 2019. Couldn't do 2020. There wasn't a Pride Parade. In 2019, I think it was, they had the largest Pride Parade at sea on the Celebrity Edge in the Mediterranean with Adam Rippon, the skater. So Celebrity just does a great job at being, premium, but without taking themselves too seriously where it's stuffy. So they got rid of formal night. So on Celebrity Cruises, I often don't even pack a tie. I think, what would I wear to a lounge in South Beach? I'm not wearing a tie. So think about our evening chic, Haley, on the solstice,
Yeah,
right? There were some people in tuxes, but it was rare. It was more
very rare.
a right. It was
Nice
more
cocktail hours,
it
kind
was
of.
cocktail, which is weird because the cruise director was in a tux, which is weird. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, but Rick brought up a great point. He got a email today from Celebrity, as did Pam, asking which temperature he wanted his cabin to be and how many hangers he wanted in his room.
Is Arctic a temperature that you can request?
So yeah, so Celebrity is my favorite. Now I will say I'm very excited to hop on a Virgin cruise in February 2022 with a lot of you for the pre-Super Bowl cruise. And I will probably hop on a Virgin cruise late 2021 as well. So I'm real excited for Virgin.
I am
But
too. That's one of the ones that I'm kind of like waiting to hop on real quick when they come back on board. Like
we
that will
will.
be
I agree. I
that'll
agree.
be a quick trigger to pull there.
All right. So I have a question for you, Haley.
All right.
Let's say a good friend of mine, let's just pretend they're an all suite client, all suite booking friend of mine, and they're coming to visit Nashville. In my opinion, there are 4 really premium hotels from which to choose in Nashville. We've got the JW Marriott, the Westin, the brand new Grand Hyatt, and the W, which is being built. Like you can see it on my window, it's not finished yet. So between the Westin, JW, Grand Hyatt, or the W, is that all right? Those 4. Which hotel would you recommend for my bougie, sweet friend?
So what's funny is you just broke down premium, et cetera, in the cruise world.
Okay.
JW and Weston are premium, but they're not in the same tier as a W or a Grand Hyatt.
Okay.
So for Marriott Bonvoy, you have W's and Ritz Carltons are on the same level, and then it trickles down to JW, Weston, like, kind of trickles down from there. Depending on the vibe that your friend is going for, if they're definitely going for a more younger, trendy vibe, I would recommend the W. If you are looking for more of a classic luxury suite experience, I'd probably say the Grand Hyatt. It just depends on the vibe you're going for. Like the W, in essence, became Marriott's answer when they bought, Starwood and all that jazz. It kind of became their answer to the younger generation thinking Ritz-Carlton is old and stuffy.
Sure. So, Hunt, you're right. I'm excited for the W. Literally, the W is. I sent Haley a picture.
It
It's
is.
too
You can
dark.
literally see it from the balcony. We can see the W.
Like from that window right there in my in my living room, you can see the W. Like it is right there. So I am super excited for it to open. Okay, thank you,
But
Haley.
if I leaned personally, I would lean more towards the W.
Okay.
All right, Jason. What is this is a loaded one. So, what is the biggest mistake you see first-time cruisers or first-time travelers that are going to a new destination make?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I would say off the top of my head, it is over planning. So a lot of my clients, especially if they're first-time cruisers or they're going to Europe for the first time, they want to just plan is something every day. If you've been to Europe with me and been part of one of my groups in Europe, you know I only do half-day tours in Europe. I cannot imagine doing and being in Europe and doing a tour from like 8 to 6 or 8 to 7 o'clock.
I have ADHD. I can't do that.
I cannot imagine. So when I'm in Europe, I love to do like the 8 to noon kind of tours, right? And that leaves the rest of the day for my group and my clients and my friends to do whatever they want. So I would say, as crazy as it sounds, Pam, I think over planning is a key because you have no room for flexibility, right? There's no room for, wow, that's a really cute coffee shop. I would love to go spend some time at that coffee shop in Barcelona as I did waiting for my time for the Sagrada Familia. Right. I had this beautiful breakfast, had champagne or croissant. So I would say over planning is the biggest mistake. Hunt asked, this is a follow-up question. The biggest mistake you have from a cruise. I've done an inside room twice, Hunt, and it was awful, and I will never, ever, ever do it again.
See, I don't think they're that bad.
They're awful. They are awful. I will never. So I've done a true inside room one time, and I did a virtual balcony room one time, and I will never do it again. So that's my own personal mistake.
Jason was that lovely breakfast before or after waking up as Symphony was blowing its departure horn.
I think he's talking about the transatlantic. Oh, I know what you were going for, Hunt. You were asking for a name of someone, which we're not. I'm not there yet. I just started the martini, Hunt. Yeah, like Rick, I did almost miss the Symphony transatlantic. Yeah,
I know. I loved that phone call. Jason doesn't remember calling me that night.
Moving on. All right, Haley. So we talked about Europe. This is a perfect segue. When you go to Europe, are you a big brand hotel kind of girl? A Marriott, a Grand Hyatt, a Hilton? Or are you a boutique hotel kind of girl? What is your Europe style?
So my Euro style is definitely more boutique, and it's not always by choice because depending on where you are in Europe, there aren't a lot of brand options. Because, I mean, some of these areas of the world are so old. I mean, some of these buildings have been passed on from generation to generation, and to get into a good neighborhood or, district or whichever arrondissement, if we're going to call it in Paris, to be in a desirable area, you probably don't have a choice.
Yeah, right.
Like, you really don't. But I mean, Europe hotels are just a whole different ball game. And when I reference that, like here in the US primarily, and don't get me wrong, there's luxury properties in Europe, the hotel rooms are generally speaking pretty big, minus, places like New York. They're big, they're well appointed, where the standard hotel room in Europe is not geared towards that. Oh no, he's going to beat his dogs.
No, Miles, one of my dogs has a really bad knee and needed help getting on the sofa. Sorry.
But some hotels they're not geared that way. And, there's also that trick of trying to find what works for you. Like, my husband and I have a king size bed at home, and some of these beautiful little boutique hotels have a double bed.
Right.
Or if I'm booking a triple for my family, they're 3 twin size beds. So it's a little tricky, but it tends to be a little bit more boutique depending on which neighborhood I want to be in. I mean, like you go to a place like Positano, there's no brand option for you.
No, absolutely. Right.
So that's I have another question for you, Jason. What are the top 3 trips that are still on your travel bucket list?
So we talked about one today.
And then we talked about Vision out of Bermuda.
Vision out of Bermuda. Like to be determined, but somewhere nice. So the one thing I really want, I'm going to go in reverse order. So my number 3 bucket list would be a crossing Southampton to New York on the Queen Mary 2.
I like that.
I just think every if you're a true cruiser, you need to do a crossing on Canard. I mean, that's just a buck. I mean, maybe I won't do it till I'm much, much older, but I will do it at some point.
Are you gonna stand on the back of the ship and toss a necklace in?
Yeah. Cruise Life Rick, I am not letting any of my clients book the Vision out of Bermuda. Some people have asked, and I'm not letting them make that mistake. So trust me. Number 2 would be it's typically the Celebrity Solstice every year does a Australia to Hawaii cruise. And Haley, we've done the second leg of that, Hawaii to Vancouver, and half the ship was on board
the full thing.
The full thing, the Australia to Hawaii. So they went to like Bora Bora, cruised all over the South Pacific, and the Hawaii to Vancouver leg was just it's the cheap leg. I'll stay on board for another. How long was our cruise? 12 nights? I don't even remember.
10 or 11 nights, I think.
Yeah. So that's number 2. My number 1 bucket list cruise. It's almost always the Celebrity Eclipse. They do a 14-night sailing from Buenos Aires down to Antarctica. So you visit a couple ports on Elephant Island, 2 weeks, and you end back in South America. I think to take photos and step foot on Antarctica, it would just be how many humans have stepped foot on Antarctica? Like what percentage? It's single percentage, right?
I think the wild thing for me is the whole sense of gravity when you're on the bottom of the world. That, just that feeling of shouldn't my hair be standing? I know how gravity works, but that direction just is mind blowing.
I don't have to worry about my hair standing upright. Yeah. So those are my 3. I want to go to Antarctica so badly. I just think those photos would just be outstanding. So kind of a good question. So what they do, Hunt, is they do have lots of tours and excursions. Basically, they come pick you up from the ship. So this is a good question for Hunt. There are smaller companies that do a more expedition style cruise, but you also stop at some other ports in South America. So it's parts of it are like a traditional cruise. Miss Q brought up the Celebrity Flora. Cruise Life Rick knows he and I mention the Celebrity Flora to each other at least once a week. Okay. The Celebrity Flora to the Galapagos, it would be outstanding to go.
I'd have to remortgage my house.
Yeah, well, so that is definitely something I want to do. I honestly almost don't consider that a cruise.
Yeah, it's
a week long or 10-day long
an adventure expedition. An expedition. It doesn't feel like a normal cruise. No, I agree with you.
We would be in bed every night by 10 o'clock to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. When you look at the itinerary of the Flora, some of those days you're at 3 ports on one day.
It's mind blowing.
So I mean that is not a we're doing shots at 2 o'clock in the morning kind of trip. So
John, I would be intrigued to do a world cruise. Jason, would you ever do one?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd have to be.
I think that's one when I'm definitely going to be a bit older, doing that sailing.
As cliche as it sounds, I would have to make sure it was on a ship with really fast internet. Because I would just have to to work. And some of the ships that do those world cruises are a lot older, and some of the internet on board is it's a lot older. And so until there was a ship that had really fast internet, it would be a struggle for me to do it because of my job.
So Pam mentions Alaska cruises are amazing. So Pam, Jason and I actually talk about this probably like every other month. I've done Alaska. I've done the 7-night Princess cruise with the 7-night land package. It's beautiful. Princess does a fabulous job.
I mean, they're number one in Alaska.
They are. I am personally more inclined to want to do a Norwegian fjord cruise.
Yes.
Over Alaska. I just think the mix of getting that nature thing, because like, don't get me wrong, the sights are beautiful, very comparable to what you see in the fjords. But like, my cruise can end in Amsterdam. Like, there's only so many times that I can look at trees. Like, I know that sounds like a real terrible thing, but like, I enjoy the nature. I appreciate it. It's beautiful to photograph. I want to see it. But I'd love to end my cruise in Amsterdam.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Haley, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Oh, Rick. Yeah.
Rick.
Rick and I found this summer 2022 sailing on was it the Apex? I thought it was the Edge. It's amazing. 2 weeks to like Northern Europe. I mean, outstanding. I thought it was the Edge, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, Haley. So same kind of question about boutique versus big brand, but in America. So you're in America, you're going to Miami 2 or 3 nights before you board the Celebrity Edge. Are you staying at a local boutique style hotel in Florida, or are you staying at a full service major brand property?
So boutique can be full service.
Oh, that is very true. Yes, I have boutiques in Nashville that are full service.
Yeah, so I in general prefer full service when I travel. I don't necessarily need the breakfast included, like the same scrambled eggs, waffle machine kind of breakfast. I don't need it. I've had to make those eggs. They come in a bag and it's not appealing. So that's not a huge thing for me. But I like to have the full service amenities. Like, if I do get in late and I can just call room service and get food, or I like those added service amenities. I tend to go a bit more based on location. Like if I were picking Miami, I would actually probably lean towards there's a Kimpton, which is technically IHG, but Kimpton used to be its own like brand of boutique. So it's the smartest buy that IHG's ever done. And I don't give them credit for much. But, if I can do a slightly smaller full service boutique, I'm going to lean that way.
So Pam wants to know, where would you place Kimpton in the hotel spectrum?
In what regards? There's so many ways I could place this.
I think Pam is asking, would you put it in in a premium, in a luxury? Like, what are its closest competitors? Like, what other brands would Kimpton be close to?
So you kind of, in the hotel world, you have economy, and then you have lower mid-scale, upper mid. Then you go into premium / boutique is probably where that would align. Okay. So if I were to put Kimpton in a category, I would put them in a category with probably like a Thompson. The Lowe's hotels I would put in that category. Possibly some of the Curio collection from Hilton. God, what is that one brand by Marriott? Hold on. Marriott has like 30 brands, so 1 second. Like,
So while you're looking that up, Jay wants to know: would you call a Kempton a 3, 4, or 5-star?
I would say 4,
4.
generally
Okay.
speaking. I have seen there's 1 or 2 Kimptons that I've seen that I would definitely put more at a 3.5.
Okay.
But it's definitely not a 5. I would more comfortably put it in the 4 category. Come on, where is the Marriott equivalent? Kind of like Meridian, even Delta maybe. Yeah, those are where those are the categories. I think the thing that people get so caught up with in the boutique realm is people think that if the aesthetics are boutique, they're not cookie cutter, that's what makes a hotel a boutique, when in reality, the boutique is the experience, not necessarily the color of the walls or the floor. Like, one of the things that Kimpton does that makes it boutique is they're an extremely pet forward, pet friendly brand. They actually have somebody on staff that is called the director of pet relations, and that is a whole shtick and experience.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So good question, Pam.
So, Jason, I want to know. I didn't give you this question ahead of time.
Oh God.
If you were going on a week-long cruise and could only pack one standard size suitcase, what would be in it? Like, what were the must-haves you'd have to have in this suitcase? Caribbean. We'll say Caribbean. We gotta.
I mean, of course, all of my. So I'll preface it by telling a story. So my grandmother was over yesterday for Mother's Day, and she saw my counter in my bathroom, and she was like, "What is going on here? This looks like a drugstore." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "How much stuff do you put on your face? And you have more makeup than I do." And I was like, okay, fine. So if the bare minimum, the makeup can stay home, I would say all the skincare. Cruise Life Rick is right. My Ted Baker shorts. I love my Ted Baker shorts. Kathleen knows me. At least 2 or 3 pairs of cute shoes. Hunt, I am actually thinking about bringing a Speedo on the adventure.
Yes.
I haven't bought it yet. I need to get it. Some people who were in this chat, who will go nameless, said they will disown me, but I kind of don't care.
Can I take a guess who?
Go ahead. So yes. So I would say that maybe one. Let's see. If it's a week cruise in the Caribbean, which cruise line?
Let's say Royal Caribbean.
So I would say like 2 pairs of pants, probably the jacket at home, no tie, couple button downs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So here's a question for you, which you were not prepared.
Oh no.
It's one of the same questions you asked me. What are your top 3 bucket list vacations?
Do you know what's really hard is I almost don't know. Like, because I literally go through like Pinterest things. I'm like, ooh, I want to go there. Ooh, I want to go there. Ooh, I want to go there. I definitely say Greece is definitely still high on my list. I haven't hit it yet.
You haven't been to Greece yet?
I have not. I was supposed to go last August. I have not done Greece yet. So Greece is on there. I definitely want to go to Norway because one of the things that I saw you could do, and I know that this would turn you off 100%, you would not join me on this trip, is you can go further north on a land trip. Like, it might be like a cruise land combo, and you can actually kind of like snorkel / scuba free dive with orcas in the wild, and I just think that is the coolest thing ever.
Why don't you think I would do that? I would do that.
Would you
Yes.
though?
Yes, a 1,000%
You
I
are
would do
such
that.
a diva. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I would do it 1,000%.
Okay, good. Okay, then because Jeff's like, you're crazy. He's like, you can't. He's like, I'm never doing that. And I'm just like, fine, I'll go do it by myself.
I would do it 1,000%.
Then I'm gonna send you a video after this because like just seeing that like out in the wild, I'm like it is just such a goal for me. And then I think the other would probably be a world cruise, but that's just so far off, like in the distance for me. If I would say something closer, I definitely want to go spend some time in like Southeast Asia, like
Okay.
a good chunk of time there. And then, oh God, and then another honorable mention is um, I want to do a river cruise on the Nile.
Yes. We
Viking has
talked
a
about
beautiful new ship on the Nile, and I'm just like, that is sexy.
I would
See that I just
do.
keep going like, oh, I could do that. Like I want to do a Rhine River cruise during the Christmas market season too. Like I just have all these things.
I do. I want to go to Europe so badly during Christmas. I think it would just be beautiful to see all the Christmas markets. Like,
Kathleen said we can go do it in California right now. Like, I just
yeah.
love it. I just love it. Let's see here. Make sure. Okay, got to do Greece, Hungary, Turkey. Uh, this is supposed to be a safe place.
No, it's the after hours chat, Derek. This is not a safe space.
Yeah, this is the after hours chat.
This is the after hours. And so,
Jason, I want to know, what is your favorite hotel brand and why?
so my favorite hotel brand is Hyatt. I think Hyatt is the most consistent of all the brands. You will rarely to never find a bad Hyatt place, Hyatt Centric, a Grand Hyatt, even Hyatt Regencies, which are their older properties. In most situations, are usually. I mean, I stayed at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, and it was beautiful. So I say Hyatt. It does stink that there's not as many of them, like you said.
Well, that's why the consistency is so good because there's only 700 Hyatt and there's over 7,000 Marriott properties.
You know, which is crazy because Nashville alone has numerous Hyatt places.
Just so uncommon.
We have a Hyatt House. We have a Thompson, which is their boutique brand. And we have a brand new Grand Hyatt. It's like Nashville is like a Hyatt city now. So I love Hyatt. My two.
Derek.
Oh, thank you. He's trying to make us, not give him too much crap. So my favorite two places to do brunch in Nashville are at the Grand Hyatt or the Thompson, which is their boutique hotel. So Hyatt is my favorite hotel brand.
John, how much does hotel matter when you're checking in late and leaving early? John, I will completely agree with you. Like when I've had those, like my flight's getting in at midnight and I'm going over to the cruise port early, I will use one of my employee rates and I will stay at a Comfort Suites, or I will stay at a Holiday Inn Express, or in a loft, a Fairfield. I don't think it truly matters. Although I will say, as I've kind of progressed through my hotel career, man, when you get into those nicer brands like your Conrads and stuff, those beds are so nice.
No, so John, no, I agree. Like I've done the late night flight in Fort Lauderdale. Excuse me, late night flight in Fort Lauderdale. Wake up the next morning, get on the cruise. That's typically when I'll do something like a Hyatt place. All right, it's there's nothing fancy or special about a Hyatt place. It's basic, it's simple. I like it. They're clean. Like I've never seen a dirty Hyatt place, but
Mm-mm.
Nothing special about it. So I think you're right.
So
Um,
Luke says if your door to the outside is a thin interior door, though.
I haven't
Um,
stayed at a
God, the only times I think I end up staying at an exterior facing property is when I'm at Disney.
or Port Canaveral at the Radisson Resort at the Port.
Yeah, like, I mean, and I think those are just very common in Florida, like the exterior corridor. We don't see it as much in other areas. I think because little hotel intel. If you have an exterior corridor property, there are certain pieces of business you can't take. There's a lot of government business you can't take. You can't take airline or cruise because they will not give contracts to hotels with exterior facing doors.
You told me that the other day, and that was surprising. So Brian Carty made a comment. He goes, "There's nothing basic but anything Hyatt." I actually think I'm going to disagree. I think a Hyatt centric and a Hyatt place are both pretty basic.
Well, I think what you're looking for in the world of basic is, I mean, in those types of situations, we're talking about more limited and focused service properties. Like they're, pretty, I don't know if I'd call it basic as I would call it standard. It is the standard expectation of what people expect from like an entry level style hotel. Like it's going to be a place to sleep, breakfast included, not a lot of fluff. I don't know. Correct me if that's not what you're.
I agree. And to me, a Hyatt place and a Hyatt centric are both very just basic, right? I mean, I get the Hyatt centric often has like an actual restaurant, but it doesn't feel like a full service hotel. I mean, yeah, I guess technically it is.
Well, Hyatt Centric runs in the same lane as Hilton Garden Inn and Courtyard.
Right. I mean, I'd
Like
like to think
they're
it's a
that.
little nicer than a
Oh,
Courtyard.
Courtyards are disgusting. I'm sorry. That is like one of my least favorite Marriott brands. I hate a Courtyard. Like even with my employee rate, I will stay at a Fairfield and a Loft before I stay at a Courtyard.
Actually, you know what? So funny you said that. So I stayed in a loft one time in was it Fort Lauderdale, and it really reminded me a lot of a Hyatt centric. So the room decor was very simple. The rooms were a little smaller. So the hotel was not extravagant. It had a bar. It had a kind of a simple restaurant, but it wasn't grand. Like the Hyatt centric is not grand. And the Aloft, I thought it did the job. It was a clean bed for the night, and woke up the next morning and got on the cruise.
Yeah, no, I actually enjoy that. Actually, I love that brand when I travel with my dogs. So Andrew wants to know what's so bad about Courtyard. So courtyards are full service, but I put it in a air quotes here. So they don't include breakfast. They have a bistro area that has, during the days it'll have like quick easy go. You order a breakfast sandwich, maybe like a panini style lunch and tapas with very limited spirits, wine and beer. And I think for it to be in that category, the rooms are nothing to brag about. The bistros, frankly, are a joke. And I'm sorry. Like, I always compare this on the Hilton to Marriott category. There's always one version of these hotels that does better, like Hampton versus a Fairfield. I'm going Hampton all day, but Residence Inn versus Homewood, I think Residence Inn's better. Courtyard, Hilton Garden Inn. Hilton Garden Inn has an actual full dedicated restaurant. The breakfast options are more expansive if you choose to have breakfast, like, it's a paid breakfast unless you're a gold member or above. I think Courtyard is such a joke for being in that category. I don't like them. I'm a little passionate on this one. Full service by Roaches.
Oh, awesome. Well, Haley, it is 9 o'clock Central Time,
It
10
is.
o'clock Eastern. It was a great 1 hour conversation.
I
So,
know.
guys, if you're wanting more of Haley and myself talking about all things travel, make sure you tune in to Today in Travel. That is our more formal talk show every Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Make sure to follow Haley with the Flair and myself, and we will be back on in 13 hours
Yes.
to bring you a far more, a far more formal conversation without the martinis, unfortunately. And so, all right, guys, I hope you had a wonderful evening. Haley, I can't wait to do this again tomorrow morning and a more, Dr. Cardi said he likes the one of these days you will catch Haley and I doing a champagne, boozy Tuesday morning chat. Not tomorrow, but one of these days.
It's been a little too crazy with travel opening back up a bit more. It's been,
yep.
I worked multiple 14-hour days last week. Like it was
same.
Yeah.
It is not a coincidence that March and April were number one and number two best month I've ever had for new bookings, right? So it's just, I am working nonstop. So people are ready to get out there and travel. So guys, thank you so much for letting us take up your Monday evening. And Haley, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.